to, and the city council is going to say we're not trying, we're just exploring. They're not. The intent is to go all the way with what they called organized hauling or single garbage hauling, or as I would say, mandated government garbage hauling, or governmental mandated garbage hauling. They're trying to take away your right to choose who takes away your garbage and how you take it away. It's a travesty. I spoke at that. We won't play any clips today, but just the fundamental principles here. And so people understand this. One, they have no right to do that. None. There's no constitutional authority that gives the city council the right to tell you what to do with your garbage, except if you violate somebody else's constitutional right. Some people have a lot of garbage. Some people have a little garbage. Okay, but we don't know what's garbage, and here's a key thing. We don't know what's garbage until you put it in the garbage and out on the street and say it's garbage. In the meantime, it's in your house. Is it garbage yet? You know, does it have to go out? If you have some garbage, does it have to go out today, or can it wait a month? And what if that garbage is really, you know, recyclable or non-recyclable, and it's, you know, a stack of papers, and you want to save up a bunch? You know, what is the city telling you how to dispose of that? And now they have, the government does have a right to deal with commerce and how commerce is done, but that regulation is to protect people's constitutional rights. And so the reality is you get to pick your garbage, and if they tell you, you know, no, we're going to go single hauler, you just don't do it. I mean, that's what it takes to tell the city council of Maplewood, I'm not going to do it. And maybe we'll just make the Maplewood City Hall the new garbage place, and dump all our garbage in their place and have them take care of it. But you lose freedom of choice. You're going to be charged whether you're collecting garbage or not. It becomes a fiasco. We're just a lot better off with this liberty. And you know, other shows will show that, but the main issue here, it's your garbage. You get to dispose of it. Doesn't matter if you have a guy in a pickup truck that comes along, as long as he's not spilling that garbage out into the streets. And what I'm finding out is that Maplewood isn't even coming after the garbage haulers who are dumping stuff in the streets and are polluting and violating people's rights by that garbage going in somebody else's yards. Yeah, collection of garbage is difficult, but the city's job is to protect your rights. Okay, that's one of their main responsibilities, is that your rights are protected, and not to protect the rights of the garbage haulers, but to protect the individual's rights. And we're finding out that the places in commerce or multi-residential housing will have more choice than you will have as an individual as far as who takes their garbage. This is a bad situation, getting worse, and this is the mindset of the Maplewood City Council, is to have everything run through the government, and that's how they operate. And they're going to keep operating that way as much as they can. All right, well, that's enough. I know other people wanted to know more about the garbage stuff and see some video clips, but we don't have time for that today. But you got to understand this principle of property rights and inalienable rights and the right to contract and choose your own garbage haulers. You get to do that. So it's amazing that Maplewood City Council is doing this, but there'll be more on that later, and this will be quite a process. But, you know, I'm with a number of organizations, and maybe you can help out and get with these organizations, and like neopopulism.org, that when the government messes up and goes beyond their boundaries, they sue and are looking to sue. So there's support out there. We need to organize and get together and make sure this stuff stops in its place. All right, same with protecting your constitutional right in relationship to voting. Minnesota Majority had a press conference today about voter integrity, and they were lined up with North Star Tea Party and Voters Alliance, who are asking for not only for photo ID for voting, but then also asking for poll watchers and other individuals who can be at polls with radio or phone contact. They got a lawyer on hand to get out there and get ready to, watch the poll watchers, because people are going out or watch the voters and the election judges, because people are hauling people in vans and buses, and they're doing this vouching for them, and they just make up names. I mean, literally, people have gone and said, my name is so-and-so, and then when say it's John Smith, and then when the when the election judge goes, John Smith, the person doesn't respond, and then the election judge will go, well, I forgot your name. What's your name? And then they give a totally different name. That type of thing has happened, and then what's happening is these election judges aren't doing anything about it. So this vouching system needs to go away. Well, let's watch this video clip as to what the press conference said today. Are we ready with that? It looks like we don't. Something's not working right now. And I got to turn my phone off. I forgot to do that. All right. Well, we'll get that ready here in a bit. So let's go to, here we go. Need the volume.
In the 2008 general election, and as has been stated earlier, we found a number of concerning discrepancies, including hundreds of felons that appear to have voted in the election. We have more ballots than documented voters as having voted. We have 23,000 same-day registrations where the verification postcard could not be delivered to the address listed on the postal card. So there's a number of concerning issues, and what we've done is try to work with our government officials over the course of the last 2 years in investigating and prosecuting these crimes, and we've come to the conclusion that our government officials are failing us. Our Chief Elections Officer, Secretary of State, Mark Ritchie, fails to even acknowledge that there is a problem. Our Chief Law Enforcement Officer, Lori Swanson, refuses to investigate. So we, the people, are going to take this upon ourselves to ensure that our elections have integrity. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what the election integrity program consists of. As has already been mentioned, that people are going to be able to come to a website, order a button to wear to the polls, and sign up to be a volunteer, indicating that they're going to be part of the program. For some people, that will be the extent of their involvement. They'll have the button on, they'll show their photo ID, they'll be educated on exactly what to look for. So on our website, we have specific watch points that people are supposed to be watching for. We have a toll-free number with a call center that we're going to have set up on Election Day that people can call and report incidents. And then we're going to have an attorney on staff to intervene as necessary if there's illegal activity going on. After the fact, then, once the official records are available from the election, we will be doing what we did in 2008. We'll be reviewing those records and identifying inconsistencies in the records themselves. Some experts have estimated that in any given election, there's upwards of 3% of voter fraud in a particular election. If you go back to the 2006 gubernatorial race, that's the last time we had a midterm here, that 3% number would account for about 66,000 votes. And keep in mind, in that year, Governor Pawlenty won by just 21,000 votes. So we think this is a significant problem. It's not a game. It's a serious issue. It's a felony. If you're caught, you're going to go, potentially go to jail for upwards of 5 years. And we're going to make sure that, we're watching the polls, having people present, and we're going to put a stop to this. So with that, what I'd like to do is tell you a little bit how we're going to spread the word. First of all, our combined distribution lists of the three organizations that are represented here today have over 100,000 email addresses on our combined lists. So we are going to today be notifying all of our members of this program and encouraging them to sign up to take one of the roles, basically either volunteer in the call center or wear a button to the polls or become a poll watcher. You know, we're going to have people actually sitting in the parking lots of polls, watching for vehicles, you know, suspicious vehicles, vans carrying multiple people, coming and dropping off people and picking them up and taking them to another poll location, right? We're going to basically be recording that and forwarding that on to the appropriate law enforcement officials. The second part of our PR campaign here is a radio ad campaign. And so that starts next week. And what I'd like to do is play a couple ads. The first ad is going to begin airing next week. The second ad is going to be airing closer to the actual election. So.
Not going to listen to those ads now, but that was electionintegritywatch.com. Go to that website and get the information there. Everybody needs to participate in that in some extent, in some way, and be on the watch. 3% voter fraud in any given election, that's pretty serious. That shouldn't be happening, but it does. And the other thing we need to have happen is we need to have not only voter integrity, but we need to have governmental integrity as far as the people that we elect into office that are going to that are supposed to prosecute and make sure that these elections have the integrity. So that'd be the Secretary of State and the Attorney General, and they're just ignoring this big time, and it's sad news. So go to electionintegritywatch.com and find out what you can do to help out to make sure that our elections, and this is really important in Maplewood. We've uncovered so much fraud, and it's still it's still we're waiting to see what's going to happen with some of this stuff, but it is really bad. And once the vote's counted, it's very hard to take it back. And so we gotta be making sure that at that election date, at that time, that this fraud doesn't happen, and hold people accountable as soon as possible and right away. So there's 3 organizations involved in this electionintegritywatch.com, and so sign up and help out there. All right, I'm going to show a clip here now from Parental Rights. The new movie's coming out in around November 20th, and this is a trailer. It's just basically saying we need to have this constitutional amendment, which already 7 senators have signed on to and 142 House members have signed on to, that this constitutional amendment be passed. We need to get that going in Minnesota to get a resolution to pass this, and we need to stop the United Nations from telling us how to raise our children. And it also sets a standard for the court, because the court really can do whatever they want, because marriage is in the court of equity versus the court of law, and a judge can just take away your children pretty much at a whim, because the constitutional standard is a lot lower than it should be, and what it was meant to be for our country, where parents would have the right to raise their kids in the education and upbringing of their choice, which isn't there anymore. So let's watch this video here. It's on the scan converter, Nathan, and we'll go with that. Oh, I need to get the volume there going. Here we go.
With courts as they are, and with the judicial system taking away more and more of rights that should be the rights of parents, that to me was one of the reasons why it was important that we make a statement in Louisiana that we value the rights of parents to raise their children.
At the drop of a pen, the state can intervene in the family, basically.
As a part of that application of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, the Swedish authorities rightly came in, took the child. That's the kind of thing that can happen with parents.
Parents should decide what's best for their kids, not the government, and certainly not a foreign entity.
That's what this is about, is people who sincerely believe that our lives would all be better if they got to make the decisions for us.
Concept that it takes a village to raise a child. Certainly the village has its input, but the responsibility is mainly with the family, with the mother and father of those children.
If the Convention on the Rights of the Child becomes implemented, parents' rights as we know them are gone.
The government has overstepped its bounds if they're trying to tell parents how they can and can't raise their children.
Whether this threat is in your backyard or not, it will be.
And we're going to reap the rewards of this in the next generation because they will not know